Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody? Let's see if I can keep from having my voice cracked today. And we come in here. Last minute idea to come live this morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Jeff Peters, I see you made it. Great, dude. Let me know if everything looks good because I just walked in here like 15 minutes ago and started turning everything on. So I'm thinking, and I'm going to watch over here on my monitors and make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to do. Hey, I want to have fun this morning just because it's killing me to turn this piece. If you're not familiar, this is a piece I've been playing with. I started it on Monday Methods a while ago, and it is. Hey, Corey. All right, cool. Sounds good, Jeff. Thank you. This, the bottom of this piece, originally cast just as a bowl in a simple mold as an experiment to do the fluorescent chromacraft spin gems that Spirocraft sells. And then I came up with this idea that, well, how about, I didn't like the way it looked. I mean, it's just a basic little mold just to do some testing. I thought, well, maybe I could add a secondary cast to it to make a rim. So I talked with Chromacraft and he said, yeah, you can, as long as you've got a little bit of surface friction there or abrasiveness, where it's not super smooth, it'll bond great. The epoxies will bond to epoxies. They bond really well. So I decided to do this, and I thought, okay, how do I want to do it? What do I want to do? I want to give myself as many options as I could. So I went ahead and used just another bowl, but this one's a round bowl. And I dropped it in there upside down. Like I say, you can see this whole process on this last week's Monday Methods. Good morning, Jim Haynes. Thanks for dropping in. And so I cast it the first time, and a couple things happened. Let me go overhead here for you. So as you can see, it ended up not centered in the mold. The bottom of my pressure, there's my voice crack. I knew it was going to crack somewhere. The bottom of my pressure pot's got a little bit of goop in it. And I need to clean it up so it doesn't quite sit level all the time. So it ended off to one side, right? And I was certain that I had put enough material down inside here to have it fill up completely in the corners, if you will. Well, for whatever reason, I think maybe because it was sitting crooked. I'll go back up here. Because I had it sitting crooked in there just a little bit, I didn't get a full seal to the top of the existing piece. So I added another little bit of resin to this the other day, and I said I want to turn this weekend. I really do. So that's what brings me out here on this wonderful Saturday morning. And it's going to be quite the unique challenge. This guy's kind of different. It's actually hollow. If you weren't here with me on Monday Methods, I'm going to put this out of the way. There is a yogurt cup, one of these. I better get one to set it. There's a yogurt cup down inside of here, okay? And that's what I use to displace the resin inside of this bowl. Let me go back overhead. I think it might show you that better in the overhead. So there's a yogurt cup sitting down inside of here that you can just barely see the rim right there. So actually this piece is hollow inside. That's what I use to displace the resin in here. I didn't want to waste a lot of resin down inside this thing, right? I mean, resin's money, and this is definitely an experiment. So I thought, well, let's displace it. Does your lovely assistant ever help? Bridget helps sometimes. She's running out today to do some things with her friend at work. She sometimes watches from inside, Jeff, and gives me cues if something's really wrong and stuff like that going on. So anyway, this piece is pretty simple, and I don't have a lot of latitude in the sides for the shape, and I accept that. So this is not going to be some stellar piece of art. Again, it's an experimental piece. All right. Now there's a couple of things I can do because of the way I cast this with the bowl. Let me get that the right angle for you. I could actually undercut this area. You can see what you can see. I could undercut this with a curve tool and let this flange roll on over. I just gave myself that option. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I got to get it mounted on here and get a tendon on this end and get the middle out of this and open it up. So it's going to be a little bit of an interesting project, which I love interesting projects because you never know exactly what's going to happen. So once I get it, I'm going to get it on the lathe. I think I'm going to use the bowl jaws, the EasyWood Tools Big Easy Jaws. And I'm going to hold this thing just enough to get this end opened up so that I can then turn that around and put it in a set of jaws and expand it like it was a recess, get a tendon on this end so that I can turn it back around. So in the process as I'm doing these, I'm going to kind of be thinking about which way works best. I hope the fan isn't too loud also because it needs a breeze in here. It's a little warm. It's the middle of summer in South Georgia. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to turn this piece every which way, back and forth, one thing and another. It's problem solving, and I love it. Plus, it's an experiment with the resins. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys can hang around. If you got to run off, I realized it's Saturday, and this was short notice. Don't forget that this will always be available on the Spiracraft Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. And I believe I switched on. I'm over live on my homepage, too. So it's all over the place, but you can always watch the replay if you got to go off somewhere today. So I understand that. But if you do, come back and watch the rest of the video because it's pretty cool. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is the EasyWood chuck. I won't say that I'm totally prepared this morning. I am not. But I'm feeling good about myself. I'm not going to pat myself on the back real hard. Oh, I see what they did. I was able to turn on I walked in here at quarter to 11, excuse me. I walked in here at quarter 11, started to turn on electronics, and I don't think it was much after 11 straight up that I actually got live. And based on my past history, as you guys know, sometimes it'd be, on Monday Methods, which starts at 10, it might be 10:15, 10:20, 10:30. So those of you who are starting to want to do video, like I know, Corey, you're starting to work on videos. I hope that's working out well for you. Tell me about it sometime. Send me a note. Let me know how your videos are coming, Corey, how that's coming out. It takes a while to get all this worked out. So the fact that I was able to turn everything on in 15 minutes, excuse me, my reach, and be up and functioning makes me happy that things are working. Of course, I still have to tear this place apart and insulate it. That's on my list of things to do real soon. Hey, Dad's here. Good morning, Dad. You keep an eye on me. Make sure I get this figured out, okay? We were talking about this just the other day, my dad and I. He's my follow-up reference. I talked to my dad, who is a great man, and after I do these, I say, "Hey, Dad, so what'd you think?" That's real cool. So it looks like I've got to move buttons around, and first thing I want to know is, I think with enough buttons this will hold. Okay, so another wrench here. Like I say, I kind of intentionally didn't set everything up because I wanted you to see the process that you have to go through. If it's all pre-done, pre-staged, then it doesn't really help you so much. So I'm going to look here, and it looks like I need to go all the way into the smallest set of buttons, all the buttons all the way in on the chuck. So I'm going to go to the end camera where you can see there. So this is the Easy Chuck with the big Easy jaws on it. And these are actually just the 12-inch jaws. Just gives me a little more room. So I'm going to move all these buttons in. And as you guys have heard, if you hang with me on a regular basis, Michael, good morning. And Lan's here. Guys, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. It's going to be a resin-filled ribbon fun fest here today of craziness as I try and work through this little project. I was saying, one of these days I'm going to get a little bit for my screwdriver, for my drill, and do these with the drill and make it a whole lot faster. But I've been saying that for oh, 3-4 years at least. And I haven't gotten there yet. Hey, Arthur Miller. So, Art, question for you there, buddy. That shed you're building, are you going to be turning out in that shed? Is that a new workshop, or is that just where you're going to be storing stuff? I've been watching the progress of your shed coming along up there. Looking good. Yeah, I am excited about this. I'm excited anytime I try something new that I haven't done before. I'm going to go back up here. I just always have a great time trying new things. That's how we learn. And again, I do this. I talk about this all the time when I'm teaching. I am not afraid to have something go wrong. Not afraid to fail on a project. That's how we learn. If we don't try new things, if we don't get out of that comfort zone, by golly, we're never going to do anything new. And what's the fun in that, right? I kind of got all kind of things left up here from the other day. Like I said, I just kind of rolled in here this morning, got the AC on earlier. All right, so everything is there. Let's see how this is going to work. All right, so we can come out a little bit with it. Do-do-do-do. All right, I'm going to show you in the overhead. So I've got the urethane buttons on the Easy Chuck here. Now, the bowl itself, Peter Brown, been a long time, buddy. Thanks for dropping in. Hope it's a good Saturday. Let's see, what time is it? It is 11:15. So that's what, 8:15 out there. So you're on coffee time. I appreciate you coming in, buddy. It's good to see you again. So it looks like because this mold is actually flared, what I'm going to do, because I want it to sit flat, I'm going to bring some pressure up against it. So I'm going to bring the tailstock up first. This is, this is going to be a little exciting because I don't believe these buttons are going to hold it and actually grip it. I was going to put the longer, I had thought about this. I just had one here a minute ago. I was going to put the longer hollow form grippers on here, but I decided that because it's on a flare, it wasn't going to make a difference whether it would hold it or not. So I'm just holding it steady is all we're really doing. And my goal is to cut through this. This is the part that's kind of going to be exciting. We're going to cut through the top here and open it up. Like I said, because remember, there is a yogurt cup sitting right inside of that guy. So that means that when this pressure that I've got on here with the tailstock, when I cut this open, that pressure is going to go away, which is what's holding this in the chuck. Are you with me on that? Your button's not correct. Should be black, yellow, black. Oh, yeah. I know. I make sure that I don't have them right on purpose, Art, just so that people will tell me. I've actually had somebody ask me, do they have to be black, yellow, one time. They asked me that, and I think they were serious, if you can believe that. So hopefully my arm's not in the way. There we go. So anyway, I'm putting a little pressure inward first. Now I'll go ahead and squeeze it with the urethane bumpers here, which is technically going to try and force it back that way. I got you. I set you up on that one, Art, or you set yourself up. But it's all good. So it's trying to kind of squirt out like a pumpkin seed. So I'm going to have to kind of keep an eye on that a little bit. I don't think it's going to jump off and hit me. I hope not. That's why I'll be wearing a face mask. Okay. So there I am. I'm mounted up. I'm secure. I'm between centers. Things are locked down. Being in the big easy jaws, we don't turn too fast. And especially because I have this issue of when that opens up, what's going to happen. So I'm just going to check my speed here and see what's going on. Now, let's see, I'm on here. Another thing is because this is not, let me show you, let me change here. Because it was off-center, so I've got this big off-center issue to deal with, but I'm gonna tackle that once we get where we can hold this thing in a nice stable fashion. Okay? Let's see what we can do for speed here. If we can turn 800 or so without anything being crazy, there's 700. Okay, I'm gonna stop it at 800. Leave it right there. That should work fine. And again, my goal is just to open this up. Going to be, like I said, it's going to be a little interesting, a little tricky. We'll see what happens. Because I know that if I was to try and turn this around the other way, the bumpers would never hold it. So I don't have that option. I don't have a vacuum chuck set up out here. And again, because of the because I repoured this, if I hadn't repoured this, I probably could use a vacuum chuck, even though I don't have one, like I said, set up here. So let's just get into this and see what happens. I'm going to stay with this, I say, this little short. You know, I'm actually not going to stay with this short tool rest. I'm going to put the longer one back on because I want a little bit of room to work. All right. Do-do-do-do. I dread the face mask in the heat. I'm going to turn the fan. I've listened to the replays, and I hear a little whoosh, whoosh, and I think that's the air coming across. This particular mic is not directional. It's omnidirectional, so it's picking up the wind coming across it. All right. So, tool of choice. The other thing I need to do, tool of choice is going to be, and I want to rotate this one, so we got a second here. What camera am I on? Tool choice is going to be the mid-size micro detailer, and I was feeling this end was a little dull the other day, so I'm going to change this over. So we'll jump up here while I change this over, and I actually finally have wrenches. I got a new plan here. I'm keeping wrenches right here. So we're just gonna turn this end for end, so we know that we have a nice fresh end. I'm pretty sure I haven't ever changed this one over and turned it around. Keith Marshall, let's see. How are you, sir? I'm good. I didn't see the start, so I don't know the entire project yet. I'm sure it will clear up for me soon, though. Really glad you're doing something about holding the project with the lathe. I struggle with different things now and then. That's exactly why I'm doing some of this. Keith, it is, you know, sometimes you get yourself worked into a corner and you're not quite sure and how to get out of it. And if you start making weird shapes, if you make, you know, traditional shapes and bowls and vessels, hollow forms, whatever you do, yeah, we've got that all figured out. And that's pretty easy, relatively speaking. But when we start stepping outside the box, which is what I kind of described this as, all of a sudden the normal approaches don't always work. And I see that my I/O bit installer wants to install over there on my back screen. So let me go over here and fix that for a minute. I just love it when electronics do crazy things. It is so bizarre. Let me finish tightening. I don't want to drop what I'm doing here. Forget to tighten this cutter up. Come on, get in there, wrench. And then I got to go fix that computer. It is live. That's the beauty of live, is you get what you get. It's the reality. Let me go over here and fix this computer. There's only 4 computers in here for me running this gig. And I don't know why this, sometimes this monitor dies away on me. Ah! I do not know why it does that. But you are seeing the overhead right now, so, or you're seeing the end view. Of course, you see me down here on the floor fussing with this computer, trying to figure out why it is doing what it's doing. I do apologize, but then again, I can't control. Sometimes when things decide to do things on their own, they do strange things. And I think That's because that came out of there. Okay, so I got that back. I love live. It keeps life so interesting. Get off of my screen. No, something else pops up. All right. Go away, stuff, and leave me alone. All right, I think we're back to normal now. All right. Yeah, Dad. I got it. I looked up. That's why I have multiple. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 monitors that I look at things with, and 4 computers running, and still things get away. But I can usually see what happens. Sometimes it's after the fact a little bit. That was exciting. Yes, thank you, Peter. At least I know you can appreciate it. I'm certain that at some point you've been to that movie. So Keith, back to your question real quick, and like you said, it will become apparent. This is a 2-part resin cast that I first cast the multicolored, the fluorescent spin gems as a bowl, and then I decided I wanted to add a rim to it. So I recast it upside down into another mold, leaving the surface rough on the rim of the bowl. So that's the second part of this. So it's an experiment with doing double casting of letting epoxy bond to itself. So that's the basic premise here, and it is hollow already inside. So let's have some fun. All right. Okay. Back to where I was. Got my fan there. Need my air. I think everything's good. We're going inside the mask. And probably the most fun for you guys is going to be from the end for you to see. I need to set my tool height. Now this will be one of those projects where I do have a question about what's going to happen if I cut through this before I'm ready. I don't think it's going to fly, but I need to be prepared. So I'm certainly not going to stand in the direct line of this piece while I'm turning on it by any means. And I'll stop and check and watch this, and I can see my cup. So there's my cup right there. So what I'm going to do is cut just to the outside of that. Just to the outside of that. I'm not sure where it will come free, because I don't know how much resin went up inside. But that's where I'm going to start. And we're going to start to work our way into this guy. Again, now this is the real pointy. And that already knocked it loose a little bit. This is the real pointy micro detailer. So whenever anything makes a strange noise and goes bang, and because the tool grabs a little bit, and I was about to tell you how that tool, if you're not careful, will grab. All right? Because if both sides of this cutter get too much on them at the same time, it can grab. All right? And that is plastic bowl right there. What I'm hoping to do is get this just close enough to being through where I can then pop it loose. Pop the center out when it's not turning. Okay? That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Because all I need is a nice round opening here to be able to turn it around and put it in a set of jaws and hold on to it in a real fashion. Alright? Take a little bit more away. on the inside here. I think I'm going to air to the inside angle. There we go. So I see it spin now. Did you see that? That it looks like my cup is loose. Now how cool is this? Voila! So we've cut away the resin that was inside the cup. Okay. Now, hey, this is working out just like I planned. See how that was not held in there? But out comes the cup. For the most part, we got a little bit of plastic in here still. Alright. But I now have a surface in here that I can expand a set of jaws into. So it actually worked out the way I wanted it to, plus or minus, because I didn't exactly know, quite honestly, how it was gonna come out. But let me go to the overhead. I'm actually quite pleased. So there's our inside of our bowl. Here's our rolled rim. A little bit of cup plastic still in here, but not much. Mostly this is just resin now. So I should be able to get a set of jaws to reach right down inside this guy and hold it. So that's what we're going to do. I don't believe these bumpers will go down small enough to do this. We'll run this all the way down, but I don't think they'll go down small enough to reach inside that hole. I'm pretty sure they won't. No, not a chance. So we're going to be doing this with jaws. Now, I have no idea what size this hole is yet. But first of all, we'll get these jaws off of here. So let's do that. Let me come out of the mask while it's... well, I don't need to be in the crazy mask and get a little breeze on me. All right. Get the bowl jaws off. I am excited. This is a project, like I said, that since I started it, and I keep having different ideas, I'm pretty excited about it. I know what's going to happen. So we'll put these over here out of the way. Now let's take a look at what we've got here for size. So that looks like 3 inches in the middle in there. Now it's kind of far in. Let me go the overhead for you. Okay, Michael, thank you for dropping in. Come back and catch the end of it to see what happened. So I've got about 3/4 from the innermost lip, this in here, to the outside edge. So I need to find a setup that is going to hold that. Set of jaws that will hold that like I want. And I'm not sure what it'll be. It might be, let's see, I've got a Vic mark here. Because at 3 inches, my easy jaws, wrong wrench, Brad, are 3.5. And I think they're going to be too big on the outside to start with. So let's see if this will work. I need that to sit down on there. And then it squeezes out. So that's not going to quite work. So optimally, I know what I need optimally is a really long set of jaws, long nose jaws that are this big. Let's see what we can do. We'll figure out a way. That's what part of this experimentation is to come up with a way to hold this guy that's going to do what we need. Otherwise, if I can just get it centered, I'll bring the tailstock back up and I'll turn a tenon on it. And we'll go from there. The other thing I needed to do is I don't know how thick the bottom of this is. I certainly don't remember. And I'll see if I can measure it with these or not. Can I get all the way there? right at. So my bottom thickness, as I need to know this. Okay, so I've got about 7/8 of an inch in the thickness of the bottom of the piece, which means I can make my 3/8 tenon and still have a decent bottom to it. Okay, so let's get this centered up on here. And I'm gonna see if that's what happens when this pushes out, if it's just gonna keep pushing out. Okay, so that actually grabs it on the outer. And I'm going to the overhead for you. So pay no attention to the black. That's out around. We're more interested in this part of the piece. And that's not perfect, but we'll work on this. And as you can see, if I go to the end view, it's got a little bit of a dished profile in it. So this bottom sticks down further than the center. So we've got a little bit of work to do there. So I want to see if I can get this, and it may not be perfectly round. So there's that. So let's see if we can't push this over just a fuzz. And get it even. This is not perfect. That's not too horrible. Bring our tailstock up. Back between centers. We're basically back between centers again. For the most part, we're between centers in a way that it can't get away from us. It's not going to go anywhere. It would have been a long reach to use a step drive or something to try and go down inside. I didn't want to take the time. I could have taken the time to turn a special piece of wood, but I didn't want to spend that kind of time. My dad says lucky shot. There's no such thing as luck, Dad. So I think, and I'm going to put a little pressure back on this now. To hold out on that. All right. A little more pressure here in the center. That's pretty snug. Let's see how this sounds when we fire it up. Okay, so that's not too bad. We're on the end view. You can see that's turning fairly close to true. I can live with that. All right. So we'll do a fair bit of work here. We're going to fix it, clean this up. We're going to cut this to true. We're going to make our tenon on here. So it's time to go to work. All right. And I think the first thing I'll do, just to get more balance, is I'm going to turn this to where it's true, this outer black part. Okay, if that makes sense to you. I'm going to have a quick sip here. All right, let's have some fun. Tool of choice. I think I will use a mid-size, and I'm going to rotate this because I don't know that it's been rotated in a while, this cutter. So while we're hanging out here, I'll change this over. Ice pick, I always have my ice pick handy. I clean out the screw hole with my ice pick. My dad, who is here commenting today, gave me this ice pick. I've had it forever, and I can't turn without it. I use it for everything. I thank you, Dad, for my ice pick years ago. So just give this cutter a quick rotation. Again, I don't know how long it's been on here or whatnot, but I'm just going to clean up this outer edge. There you go. Okay. Best view for you guys is probably going to be, let's see. I'm not sure if the overhead's going to be the best or the end view. We'll start with the overhead for you. Okay. And my tool rest is a little high at the moment. I just want to get this piece round, because you can see how out of round it is. And so that makes for more vibration, more out of balance issues. Good thing it's a wooden floor. Let's find a speed that we think we're happy with. So that'll turn 1,000, no problem. So we'll leave it right at 1,000. We'll put on our face mask. And I can see a ghost image. I may just fix this ghost image all the way across this piece while I'm at it. You can see, and I gotta leave it turning to do this, you can see the ghost image all the way out here. So that's how far out around our upper piece is, which makes for just more vibrations that we don't need. So let's fix that first. Again, make sure I'm well secured in there. Now there's actually two layers. There's a secondary layer of resin on here, so I'm not sure how the bond is on that when I just threw it in there, but I'm curious to see. One thing you'll obviously be starting to figure out is that this is going to get a lot smaller as we go. Now I may end up turning this all the way away. I just don't know. I'm here on my Saturday having some fun in the shop. Again, this is an experimental piece. I do not have a particular design in mind, so as far as I'm concerned, I can't really do it wrong. I might second guess myself after the fact, but it'll be whatever it'll be, and that's okay with me. I'm just having fun and learning and experimenting. So I do see, because like I said, I did pour. I didn't abrade the top, so you can see some little flecks here coming off, which I anticipated that, because there's just a very light skim coat of resin on the top that rolled around inside the mold when I reused the same mold again. That's also why you can't see, but I'm standing over here off to the side. I'm not in direct line of anything that's going on there. And this takes all that vibration out of here, and it needs to be done anyway, because we got to figure out what it is we've got to work with. Now, I don't want to stick my cutter into the chuck jaw or the chuck there body, obviously, so I'll just be careful. And like I say, I may want to leave this nice road. The reason I cast it was in case I wanted to use this kind of profile with the bowl like this. Okay. So of course, this is the best part. You know, you get your wedding veil of resin all over you. So let's stop and take a look. So I can see down in here now, yeah, you can see the coloration, the swirls, the different pearlescent powders that I've got in there. So there's some interesting stuff going on in there. That's all good. All right, so now that's round, so we're going to go ahead and clean up this face. And for that, I'm going to go back to that micro detailer of the straight tool. Get some of this train off of me here. Because at the moment, I don't want to take away any more of this than I need to. All right? Get this tool up here out of the way. This is actually pretty true right here. So I knew there would be a little loose piece right there, and indeed it comes right off. Right where we're touching the resin, the other bowl. Okay, so that's cool. Now the second pour also, I did not put in a pressure pot, just for what that's worth. I did not put it in a pressure pot. And I'm going to reach in there with a CI5, a real small negative rate cutter, just right up in that corner real quick, and then we're going to go make the tenon on this thing and get the, well, we got to get the rest of this true. But I'm going to come right up in here and kind of clean this up. Right in there. Shoot, I might as well just go ahead and go right on down this, since I've got this round cutter in my hand and it's a small one. Okay, I'll go ahead and go back to the bigger one. The bigger one is actually a better shot for that. Now here we're cutting the spin gems, which are polyester. They're a polyester polymer. And see these flat spots? If you can see that flat spot, the shiny there, that's from the mold. So obviously that's got to go away. Those flat spots need to go away. Working with the spin gem products that we carry here, these are the Chromacraft spin gems. Once you cut them open, they look much better after you turn them than when in the initial pour, because you start to open up the body of the piece or the material, and you get a much neater look. And I might as well go ahead and roll around this corner. And I think while you're not looking, I'm going to change this end camera. Alright, I'm going to zoom it in so that you'll be able to see better. And I'm going to change the focus on it. Get this squared away, because we need to be in a little bit closer on that. And I set it to manual focus there. And things should be nicely in focus there. There we go. And lock that in. It's one of the big things I've learned. Corey, if you're still here, and one of the things, learn to put your cameras on manual focus, because when you have the stuff turning. Hey, Mary Alice, I didn't see you pop in. Good morning. Yes, it's working out. Corey, make sure you run your camera on manual focus, otherwise it'll go crazy, the autofocus with all when you're turning a piece. So I'm taking away this hump. And remember, I'm going to make a tenon, so I'm going to have to take away a lot of this in time here. Luckily, we have plenty of material. So I think this thing is just going to be, I'm going to be happy with it. regardless, but I think it's going to be kind of cool. I mean, I'm going to put as much shape in this as I dare. Again, I didn't cast it to have a wonderful shape. I cast it to use as little materials I could to test my theories here. I still see a shiny spot up top here. That pass may have gotten it. I can't begin to tell you guys how much fun I'm having. This is my favorite way of trying new stuff. I know I talk about it all the time, but it really is the truth. It's not any made-up story. I love trying things that I haven't done before. Okay, so I need a 3/8 tenon by. I would like 2 3/8, but I think I may go smaller. I may go 1 3/8 so that I don't have as big a tenon on here. So, look at the colors on me. I don't know if these colors, because of all the confetti color shows up or not, but that's pretty cool. I'll give you an overhead of the colors. I need to save these chips and recast them. Okay, let me get some of this off of me and get my caliper set up for the small jaws, because I think that's what we're going to go with. It's a good thing I didn't clean up from Monday, since I'm making a mess. I'll clean up, he says, haha, before Monday. So this is the little 1 3/8 jaws, and I just like to make sure that I've got the caliper set right, because I can never remember. These days I'm changing chucks some where I'm at, and I want as close as I can get to a perfect circle. I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway there. Okay. And we'll take a look here. So it'll be a pretty small tenon in there, and that's all right. So I can cut this away with a square style cutter, if possibly. We're going to try that. Wearing the mask making my hair a mess. Let me go get a haircut. And if those of you, this sidebar, total sidebar, are here on Monday, this is the extra little pour of resin that came out when I had a little extra. Remember I said we make a little cup or something out of that? So it's got the holographic and iridescent glitters in it and stuff like that. Just a fun little thing. Got a nice little pearl swirl in it. All right. And just a little side note there. Always something fun. Now I'm going to get radius. I want to see. I'm going to talk to Easy. I thought about this the other day. I want to ask Easy if they'll go start making a negative rake true square cutter. They do not offer one that is truly square. All the negative rakes that are square have a radius on them, and for making a tenon, I'd really like to have a square one so I can get square shoulders. So I'm gonna put in my request to the boys up there and see if they. I've requested some other strange cutters too, so sometimes they just kind of look at me and shake their head and go, "Yeah, right, Bradley, whatever." So I'm going to see if I can cut it with this cutter to start cutting in here. If not, I'll have to do it round and then come in and work on it in a different way. But that's where we're at. So let's go ahead and suit back up here. I hope everybody's having fun. Those of you on the West Coast who are just getting up, hope you got your second cup of coffee going. Since I'm going to work through lunch, I ran out and got a little snack before I came in here this morning. I think the end camera is probably going to be the best. All right, let's go. And the reason I want to use this cutter, though, is it's 3/8, which is what the length of my tenon that I want. Now, my tenon doesn't truly have to be a full 3/8, but it would be nice. And see, once I cut this, then I can reshape. Does that not look like cotton candy to you? I can also cut sideways. Whichever way is working best. Again, keep my calipers close. This is a small tenon. I don't make these small ones that often, so I have to check myself a little more often with them. I do want to flatten this out too while I'm here. All right, loving it, loving it, loving it. Getting pretty close there. Like I said, with this radius style cutter, I can't get a square and flat contact point for the top of the jaws. That's why I would like a square cutter for doing these. We'll work around it. Do 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 do. As usual, if I'm humming, I'm having fun. Alright, I'm going to go just a little bit more. It's a little oversized, but that's alright. I want to keep a little extra strength in here because I don't know what's going to happen on the inside. Okay. Do-do-do-do. So I'll come back in with the detail, the micro detail tool, and I'll use it to flatten this out. And I'll use it to make my dovetail. Okay, that gives me my dovetail profile. And again, you can come at things from a lot of different angles. So don't always feel boxed in by you have to do it a certain this way or a certain that way. So there's our tenon. It's a pretty tenon with those colors. So I'm just a fuzz bigger than exactly and all that. So that's fine. So I have another. I think I've got plenty of material in this bottom corner. I'm going to radius this some, but until I get back inside, I don't want to overcommit. Obviously, I've got enough on this corner I can take it away to a degree, but we can always redo that after the fact, after we get this turned around. But we know that we can change this shape some. That's the beauty of wood turning. You just change the shape as you want. Okay. So now if I go to the overhead, you can start to see that I'm building a profile on here. It's not just straight up and down anymore. Again, I'm not exactly sure how much I can get away with. Let me check something here on my scroll wheel. Okay. All right. How are we doing here? I'm not worried about the time really because I'm having fun. It's Saturday. I don't want to stay out here forever, and I don't want to keep you guys forever. So here's a $64 question. Do we want to make this, have it be a recurve flare here? I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to cut I'm in the wrong one. I think I want to cut a recurve in here, and I can always turn it away if I end up not wanting it. All right, but I think I kind of want to try it just to do it if I got the right cutters on the right tools. Because once I turn it around, it's the tools working the wrong way, and I can't stand on the other side of the lathe. All right, so I'm loving my little shape that I've got here. I'm going to change this profile on the top a little bit more. Let me get some of these stragglers out of here. Again, I don't really know. I don't have a real plan for my top profile. I'm just having fun and kind of because not knowing what I was going to run into, it's kind of hard to say, well, I'm going to do this. Here's what we're going to do when you're not sure what this is. Clean off so I can see here. And we're in the overhead so you guys can see that. Of course, black on black doesn't help you a whole lot. Actually, I can move it over there. You can probably see better against the silver. I'll do anything for the view for you guys, because you're the ones who have to look at the camera. I have the luxury of having the piece right in front of me. I do want to be sure that I'm through that secondary casting layer on this top, because I don't think that it would have bonded very strong. Okay. A little more change in this shape. I'm having a tough time because I'm looking at black against black for the profile, and I'm getting some humps that I'm not a fan of. So I need to find a way that I can see this, get rid of these humps. Having a contrasting color out there, and gosh, we could do a flare up there, but I just worried about this outer edge right here for now. Okay, so let's assume, let's assume that I stay with this curve and I recurve this up under here. I've got a nice little flare going up right here right now, but I just want to cut in there just for the yucks of it. And I'm looking at my other hollowing guys, and I think I'll just come in to start with. I've got there's a little pocket right there which would need to be taken care of. Remember I said I did not pressure pot this second cast, okay? So I have a little pocket there anyway. So let's just open this guy up underneath here, just for fun. Like I said, I may turn it away, who knows? Hopefully you can kind of see up in there. Now I do need to be careful, because I'll bet you that is really that edge right there is really sharp. I mean, it is really sharp, and if I was to let my finger rub up against that edge, that would cut me in no time. In no time whatsoever. And I'm kind of wondering here if my feed is working. Somebody pops any kind of a comment in to one of the columns, just so I can see if my comment monitor feed is working, because the last one I see is from Billy McCalister that says lucky shot, and I don't want to miss any questions, anything anybody might have. So somebody pop something in there, miss any kind of comment, says yeah, you're coming through, or anything, just so I know that is working. Because it should be coming in through YouTube and Facebook and all the other places. Okay, all right, so Jim says yes, and Mary Alice says yes, all's okay, great, perfect. I get worried when nobody's asking me any questions. I get worried. Okay, so there's that pocket that I still have there. So let's go attack this some more. I'm going to go a little further in and make sure I'm the right height for this guy. A little low. Let me pop that up. I don't really need one of the recurve tools for this because I can get straight at it. It's just always fun to experiment with your options. So what I'll do is I'll try and get rid of that pocket. I don't know how big that pocket is. Give me my infamous... Well, that pocket's pretty big, Brad. That's what you get for not putting it in a pressure pot. That pocket's pretty big. That's okay. Let's do this to make life easier. If you have a cutter, reach back through here on you. If you have a cutter loaded, especially these carbide cutters, if you're loaded 180 degrees all side to side, they don't really like it. They don't mind about, maybe 160 degrees. I mean, I'm just pulling up a number, but obviously 180 is all you can hit. But they start to vibrate, and they have a little bit harder time cutting. So if you know you've got to go pretty far, take a pointy style tool of whatever you're using, and let that be what you go in, and I call them, it's the relief cuts, just like anything else. And come in here and make some relief cuts, and it makes it easier on that round cutter for it to come in and clean this out. Okay? And I'm making sure that I keep this at the angle of the outside curve that I've defined. And at the same time, you don't want to overload this cutter. Alright? Okay, so that little bubble hole went over to the side there now. So I think we're just going to round that off and quit chasing it, because I think I'm chasing something that is a little bit endless right there. So we're not going to worry with that. We're just going to come in here and clean this up now. Now I've actually made, this is fairly thin right here. Actually, it's quite thin on the very edge. If you can see that, what I'm talking about right in here is actually quite thin. I know it's hard to see things that are in black. Because again, if I turn it away, it's no loss, it's just good practice. So you can hear how that cutter chatters when it gets loaded all up. But I want to get back up in there to where I cut, just to kind of smooth that out. Alright, so because the things are out of round, I don't know if you can see up in there. Some of it's because it was off to the side. Now we've made it round. Some of the fluorescents are actually up in here in what I'm cutting. Alright, so let's leave that alone. Let's come out here and finish cleaning this up, this shape, and then we'll turn this around. Sorry for my arm there. And we'll turn this around, put it in the chuck, in the tenon, on the tenon, and move on from there. So let me blend all this together right here. Like I said, I'm really happy how this is coming out. And I'm going to do this while it's easy to get up in here. And you see, I won't be able to get in this area right here either once it's in the chuck. So I kind of want to do what I need to do there. Alright. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here before I turn this around with that negative rake radius cutter, and just clean this area right in here up. I mean, theoretically, I could get back in there again if I wanted to remount it. So this is just kind of like a sander. That smooths that right up, takes the any round cutter tool marks out. And I'm just going to go to where I think I can't get to because I may change some of this outside. Okay. So that's actually pretty smooth. Now that's my little base right there, so I'm not going to worry about that. Do I have any denatured alcohol in here? Let's see. I don't think I do. I wanted to show you how shiny that would be. But let's see what happens if we put a little bit of lacquer thinner on. So I just want to see this. I'm curious. There's some up there. If it hasn't dried up. Yeah. Let's see what this looks like if we can't put a little temporary sheen on this. Now that's cool. It doesn't last long, but that's pretty cool. And that'll go right away. And that's just wiping it down. That's not polished or anything. Cool. I'm happy. I'm pleased. I like your comment there, Chris. You are 5 by 5 here. Good deal. I'm having a ball. All right, let's turn this thing around. All right. Let me just go over here. I'm getting to be a mess, but hey, that's what it's all about. So the question is, that's actually fairly sturdy on there. I don't think I would turn it. But I'm comfortable that had a nice solid grip on it there. All right. Now I have to remember that I've got this this wall right here that I turned. I've got it quite thin. Not as thin as I was thinking. What is that? I'm just curious with my tape measure. It's not as thin as I thought. It's about 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, it's right at 1/8. It's that sharp edge that makes it feel thinner. I'm going to leave that sharp edge on it just to. Okay. So there we go. There's our top edge. Let me turn this to the overhead. There's our bottom with our tenon. Good to go. There we are up inside. And you can see how we started to get into, get that for you, cutting into the flare of the wall of the outer round of this piece, but that's all right. So now this is where we're going. We're going inside here. We have plenty of material to work with, relatively speaking. All right. So let's change some jaws here. Go back over here. Change out these jaws. Put the little guys on. Like I said, I am glad, as I've just made a mess. The spin gems tend to make a little bit more of a mess as the polyester. You know, when it's the polyester's in, polyester polymer. It's not exactly a polyester. It's not polyester resin as we think of classic polyester resin, but it is a polyester. They tend to be a little more messy. So I've made a big mess, so I'm glad I didn't clean up. And my hair is perfect. If I go uptown and get a haircut from the local barber, though, there won't be anything left. I got a coupon the other day for great clips. Maybe I'll go back over there next week to the big city of Statesboro and get myself a real haircut. Okay, so you can see in the end, that looks like a good shot. You'll be able to see inside there when we work inside. So I'm happy with that. The overhead is still fine for anything we might do up there. Okay, good deal. So we'll snug this guy up in here real nice. Again, if you're in the overhead, you'll see I'm a little big on the gap in my jaws, but I decided I wanted a little more strength in the tendon. I'll live with that little gap right there. It's not the end of the world. Let this guy squeeze down nice and get a good grip on it. Okay. I believe the tailstock can come out of the way here. Let's go inside this guy and have some fun. So the end camera for you there. Everything looks good. We still got some cup to turn away there. I'm gonna have a little sip of soda here real quick. I really do appreciate everybody joining me today on a Saturday on short notice. Sometimes you just get compelled to do something, you know, and you want to share it. And sure, I could have done this and recorded it and then played it, but if you had a question, you know, you don't get to ask the question when it's not live. So I really do appreciate folks coming out and hanging out with me on a Saturday. I'm having a ball, and I really do appreciate the support. All right. Enough talking, because somebody told me I talk too much. I'm not going to ever stop talking. Let's get inside of this guy and see what we want to do here. Looks like we're pretty much in the center there. All right, this is the CI3 size standard negative rate cutter. Things are turning pretty true. Turn the speed up to about 1,000 now. And start out just cleaning up this top of this rim. And then I'll start working my way around. There goes part of the cup, the yogurt cup. Again, it's amazing what, if you'll think about it, you can come up with all kinds of things to use as your molds and all that. Nothing against commercially made molds, they're great. But sometimes, you know, you got a shape in mind and you want to do something and you can't find one. Then come up with your own. So what I see starting to emerge, you see this line right there. Let me get my pointer. I think, I could be wrong, I'm not sure if that's the cup right there or if that is the resin. It looks solid. So, no, it's plastic. That's from the yogurt cup. There it goes. All right. It's always good, especially in a crazy one like this, to kind of check and see what you got going on. So that's gone now. It's always easier to stop and look than it is to go, oh, well, I wish I would have taken another look at that. So what I want to do is work this down to where I'm touching the inside of the bowl. And I'll level this out. That's my theory. Now it's not perfectly round inside. Sure, why we're getting the vibration. That's why it's called an experiment. That thing is hot though, that's for sure. Alright, looking good. I'm going to keep leaving this real parallel here for right now. I may roll this because I think I have enough material to roll that over, but I got a little nick right there. I better get rid of that because I like to put my hand on it. Let's just go ahead and roll that over, take care of that issue there. listening pretty intently to see if there's anything I hear going on. You know, I had that high-pitched vibration right up in here, and I'm not exactly sure why, though it does seem to be dissipating some. Okay, we'll just keep on going with this. And I'm actually looking over here at the opposite side. I know it's pretty dark in there. I don't have an extra light shining in there for you. I want to get this to uniform right in here. A part of that vibration could be because I've cut the bottom thinner and this is thicker. That's kind of a no-no, but I did it anyway. So sometimes you'll get some vibration, although it's plenty thick. I do have a couple of void pockets right in here. That may even be from the first cast. I don't think I can find a way to show them to you. Let's see, there you go. You see them right in here, those little white spots. There's a couple of voids that the pressure pot didn't get on the first round. Again, I had that yogurt cup up in there, so that might have affected that to a degree. All right, let's just go ahead and get this guy smoothed up in here. Then we'll come back up here and think about what we want to do with the rim. Let's get everything flat and smooth. That way everything's uniform, and we'll have cut the spin gems open. Thing with spin gems is you can control the ratio that you mix. You can have, in this case I stacked the spin gems solid. You can go 50-50 resin to spin gems if you want. Whatever you want, and you'll get different looks by how much of the spin gem product you use to in combination with the resin. Once you start to get it flat, then things smooth out pretty good. Still got some work to do right down there in the bottom. All right, so the question is, now I'm kind of at the deciding point. What kind of a rim do I want to leave this rim just like it is? I kind of like it. You can see I've got my delineation between the fluorescence and the black rim that I added to the top. So I got a couple little pock marks right there. It's not the end of the world for what I'm doing. I don't know. I can roll this any way I want. It's really up to me what I do with it. I think I'm going to come in here and clean up this bottom just a little bit more. And as usual, you guys know that I don't want to sit here and sand for you. So I'm going to shoot this with the coat of lacquer when I get done turning on it, and just so we can see what it kind of looks like. I'll leave the tenon on it, and someday I'll come back and I'll just turn or sand off that lacquer and sand it for real and polish it up. It'll go into the box of hundreds of others that are waiting for that final touch. Bridget told me that she wants to put a set of display shelves in what we call the keeping room here. Living room for us, really, but the traditional Southern term is the keeping room. And she wants to put some of my pieces that are just piled around in boxes out on display. And I said, but honey, I would have to finish them if you do that. That would mean sanding and polishing and all that stuff. Okay, so that's good enough for the bottom. Now I think, what do I want to do? How much do I want to mess with this top rim? I kind of like the look I've got. Right now, let me change cameras for you. Right now it's a pretty uniform straight. There's not much roll to that. Okay, there's a little bit. I think I want to roll it over a little bit more, just from an aesthetic standpoint. You know, it could be whatever I want it to be. It doesn't really matter at this point. But I've got plenty of material. So this is, so far, unless I do something wrong here, I'm rating this as a success. It's done everything that I wanted it to do. It allowed me to add a second extension or second casting to an initial cast, which opens up a world of possibilities. Let's say, as you refine this, and I wanted this to be all glitter, all shiny and glittery, I would, be cast it closer to what I wanted, and my glitter would all be on the bottom, which would be the top of this, and we would have a glitter. We could have a glittered top, because your glitter in your resin always sinks. So I'm just kind of rolling this over, and again, I'm looking at a black background back over here, which makes it kind of crazy. I'm getting a little vibration, which is annoying me, but nonetheless, that's what you see those little white marks are. There's just a little bounce going on there, which I'm not exactly sure why. Let's see something here. If we take up the speed, if those bounces get worse or go away. So I turn the speed up to about 2,000, and I'm making a very light cut. You see how much finer the wisps are coming off? So I lightened up the cut. And I turned up the speed. Actually, it's only 1,600, but that's plenty fast. Okay, I do want to reach over here and take the sharp edge off of this corner before I forget about it, because just handling it, you could get hurt, you could cut yourself. So I just want to roll that over. Now I'm going to turn it off before I check to make sure that that's dull now, it's not sharp anymore, because if I did that when it was still sharp, I would cut my finger right wide open. Okay, so we'll go back to the end camera there, and we'll show you making these final cuts. And then I'm going to come in with the radius style cutter and clean this up. Now when this resin gets hot, it's not unlike wood. We think, well, it's completely different than wood. When it gets hot from cutting it, it actually will bend and warp and shift some on you. Okay. Keep my hand out of the way there. So this is the radius cutter. I think I do need to raise my tool rest for that. I opened up a little bit of a pock mark right there, unfortunately, from the casting. So this is the radius negative rate cutter, and this will take all my round cutter marks out. This is your final shaping. You try and keep this guy nice and sharp and with a nice fresh edge. And I may just go ahead and rotate this one because I can't remember where it's at and they're too small to mark. So I'm going to rotate this one real quick to make sure I have the freshest edge possible. Give this a quick rotation. I'm really pleased for this first shot of this idea that it's worked out the way I really had in mind, relatively speaking. I think it's pretty cool. I love it when a plan actually does what you want it to without too much hassles. Okay. Hopefully this is a little bit fresher edge, or it could be the old one. Let's see. I don't know if I brought another one of these. I don't think I did. I think I'm going to rotate that one half because I went end for end. Drop the little teeny Allen wrench down into this mess. I want the best edge I can get on here, and I don't have another CI6 R2NR handy. So I'm going to try another facet, another side of it here, real quick like. There we go. That little pock mark right there. This is so thin it's actually flexing on me back here. Alright, so we're going to leave that alone, and we will sand it. I'm going to sand it just a little bit. Not a heavy sand, not the appropriate sand that it should get, because like I say, there's a little pock mark in there, and one thing and another. So let me find my papers. We're going to give it, we've got 220, 320, 400, and if I had a piece of 120 hanging around, which I do, just on this black. So I'll come back over here to the end camera. Oh, that's overhead. Go to the end camera, slow this guy down, put her in reverse. This is a dry sand. Just to kind of try and knock it. You can see where those ridges are and those grooves. And I said I'm just going to hit a bit of lacquer on here so you can kind of get the idea of what this would look like when it was polished. But I'm really happy the way this came out with its secondary rim. I see because of the chroma key you get, I'm looking up at a monitor now because I don't have a sharp tool in my hand. You're getting those weird colors because of my chroma key stuff. I keep using green in things. Again, I'm not going to go crazy here, but I'm really pleased because I was able to add this secondary cast to make a whole different rim in a completely different color with a different set of colorants in it, which again just opens up all kinds of opportunities for what you can do. Okay. And we'll hit the body real quick, just for yucks. Although it's pretty rough. There's some pretty big tools, some spots in there, so we're not going to worry about that too much. All right, 120, let's go. Oh, where am I at? I'm going to have to walk all the way around here. My 220 went out in front. Again, not the proper sanding procedure, but I don't know why anybody would want to watch somebody else sand. I know I certainly don't want to watch somebody else sand. And with a quick shot of lacquer, you'll see the general idea of what we've got. Now the glitter that was on the top, so I turned a lot of it away, so the glitter is gone. But knowing if you dial it in with your casting a little bit closer to what you end result that you want, then you're going to be able to have that control. I didn't do that on this one, understandably, because I was just kind of playing. But I know now that I could do it, and I could have things that normally sink to the bottom be on the top, because you make the bottom the top, and the top the bottom, and so on. Again, nothing fancy here. I'm not going to sweat this stuff. There's one line all the way around that. I get it. Okay. So I think I'll spray a little bit on the top and on the inside. Then we'll take it off and I'll hold it overhead. Just so you can get an idea. Say, I'm quite pleased with the process and how it worked out. Those spots are full of dust down in there, so we won't worry about that. But up comes our rim. So you can see the black and the gold pearl in there now. Starts to emerge. So I am happy. As far as I'm concerned, the process is a success. Okay. I think that looks pretty cool. We'll go overhead and I'll spray some on here. I guess I should get all the strings off. Again, it's just a quick shot of lacquer. It'll be super thin. It'll be easy to take it back off. Now, as soon as it settles, as soon as it dries, it will be flat. But it gives you an idea of what it would look like. And what I'm going to do two things. I'm going to go turn these cameras back onto auto, I think. And zoom in real close. And that should so you can see get this. Oh, I'm working on the end camera right now. All right, so let me switch over to the end camera for you, and you can see in there pretty close. And as I hit a little bit of lacquer on there, there's that one tool mark that goes all the way around. There's a little bit on the inside for you. But you can see, if you saw it in person, again, I'll put a couple coats on it today just for yucks and take a picture of it. And let me zoom in, fix this overhead and zoom in where you can see there's no way to get the front camera to do it. Change this focus. And zoom the overhead right down real close for you. And get that focus to change. Come on, change for me now. There we go. Because I want to get you right down inside these gems. You see if I can't get the focus super close here. See what I can get away with this camera. May not be able to get what I want. I've got it zoomed in super tight. Can't quite get what I want. I could get close. There we go. So there's what those spin gems look like, as close as I can get it to focus in. And we'll shine that up for you. So once, like I say, once you cut into the spin gems, and we'll go ahead and hit that at the same time. Notice I'm not spraying towards the chuck. All right. So that's cool. I'm happy. I'm happy, happy, happy. I'll just leave that there and I'll come up to here. Take this out of here. I think it worked out well. I can already touch this inside. It's dry. That's how fast lacquer dries. So there we go. There's our little guy. Gosh, I wish you could see it better from me. I'm gonna back this back out, and I'll show you. I'll move it around a little bit in the overhead, so you can see up underneath our tenon, our flared little top. Back into our inside, you can see the tool marks on the bottom, but don't worry about those. So that worked out quite well. I'm really pleased with that. Like I say, it gives me lots of different options in the future. So I'm going to set that guy right there. And I guess I can't see what it looks like against the gray wall until I see it walk to out of the way. But I had fun. I appreciate everybody coming. Oh, wrong camera. I appreciate y'all. Change camera. I was trying to get to where you can see it against the background there. I do appreciate everybody coming out and hanging with me on Saturday morning here. Now it's midday. I had a great time. I hope you picked up some tips. I encourage you, if you're not into resin, if you want to try this, it's a lot of fun. All the products I'm using here are on Spirocraft's website. Hey, I've been redoing the website a little bit. It's not the new one we're working on, but I've made the categories a little bit easier to find your way around. Cleaned it up a little bit. But anyway, all these things are available. Give it a try. Again, doing multi-part castings with epoxy. Make sure that where it joins is not smooth. So I just left the tool marks in it, and I actually put a little bit of a curve and a little bit of profile, a little cove down in there on the top of the spin gem part, so that I had more surface area. I got a great bond. I did get a couple of bubble pocks in there from the probably not getting the pressure pot in time. But anyway, thank you everybody. I had fun. Thanks for coming on a Saturday. Monday methods. I got to figure out what to do. I'll get that posted up this weekend, and I'll see y'all on Monday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay healthy, and I'll see you real soon. And it says that something's wrong with my Apple thing. Goodbye. See y'all. Doo-doo-doo.